because number one, you're drunk. I'm not going to show the full thing. I'm going to cover the gun. Number one, you're drunk. Number two, there's a gun. Number three, your child is touching the gun. Number four, you're on live. So while I know Petty's a great mom and probably takes care of her children and all of that, this would make someone from the outside looking in say, yes, CPS needs to step in and possibly take the kids X, Y, and Z. No, her daughter goes to shooting range and she lives in Texas. We different down here. That doesn't matter. That's completely
Okay.
irrelevant. The daughters look like she was 7 or 8 years old and touched the gun. It don't matter. I don't care
She
how. Go ahead, baby.
she about 5. She's about 5 years old, and what happened was the girl knew what the gun is, but she pointed and said, "I always wonder what that thing is." Point to the safety. Then Patty flipped the safety on and flipped it off, and then flipped it back on. She showed the girl what the safety was.
So, what do you think? Do you think that's something that should be where it's possible that the CPS should take her children, and that's irresponsible and X, Y, and Z? What do you think?
I hope CPS don't take her kids, but I hope this scares her a bit because I don't know how old the girl was, but she didn't sound like her words weren't even clear enough to say that she was like above the age of like 6.
Yeah, I'm looking for.
So I hope it scares her, but that is very dangerous because if Patty goes to sleep and then you show the girl with a safety and she take the safety off and hurt herself, then what?
Yeah, and this happened, and that's sometimes what happened with it, and there could be a tragedy, and that's happened. Do you remember the story of the young black children that were in the bathroom playing with one of their parents' guns, and
Mm-hmm.
they shot each other in the head?
Yep.
You,
And it's not about what she did in that video, it's what she showed her for later. People I know people like her on here and that's fine, but I love children more than I like grown ass people.
yeah. Go ahead.
And I feel like that was a dumbass thing to do, especially on live. And whatever come from that is well deserved because it's what you show people. Ain't nobody then went and looked up your stuff, found out your kids' school, none of that wild shit. You showed them you showing your daughter the safety on the gun. So you brought that on yourself. And I don't care if you live in Texas, Timbuktu, California, no man's land, wherever the hell you live at, you should not be doing that shit because it's about the kids later.
And thank you, babe. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
Tasha.
Yeah.
And hold up, Tasha. And saying that we Texas and we different down here doesn't dispute the fact that this is a dangerous situation. Like I said, for me, I'm borderline because I know Petty's a great person and I know she's very nice. But this is something where I have seen. It reminds me of that video, if you guys don't remember, where those little black children, beautiful children, shot each other in the bathroom and killed, and just played with the gun and did all that. I personally believe that if you have any weapon in the house, it should be nowhere near a child. It should be in a safe. That's what I believe. So, I mean, should teach them about guns if you have time in your house, but they shouldn't. They should be locked up. So that's one thing. Hold up, Tasha. I believe you should teach the children. Yes, these are guns. This is the safe, just in case you need to defend yourself, and then maybe have it somewhere. There's a code somewhere up high or whatever. Blah blah blah. And if they ever even thought of going in there without your permission when it's not needed, then we have a problem, and you getting your ass whooped. But otherwise, um, I don't believe that you should have guns freely out. And what makes this even more problematic is Petty was drunk. That child could have taken the gun off safety and shot both of them and killed someone. So this is, I believe that would be enough for CPS to come and investigate. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I did want to say something though. There's been a lot of parents that do teach their children about gun safety. I think it is smart myself to teach your kids. You could be in a shopping center, you could be out and about, it could be anything. The kids probably are able to access it before you do. I don't feel like it's as big as it's trying to be blown up to be. I think the only thing that makes it worse is that it was done on an app with a lot of closed-minded people. A lot of people don't understand that a gun, it can be that could be the middle of life and death. I don't.
I understand that,
I,
Tasha,
it's a lot of
but
drunk
Tasha, I
white people
understand
that
that,
play
but
with
I
guns.
want
Let's
to.
be real.
But Tasha, what I want to put into the factor here is we have a child, we have a drunk individual mother, and we have someone that is showing their child how to use a gun at a very young age while being drunk. Children are different from adults. We've seen children shoot each other. We've seen them shoot themselves. We've seen them shoot their parents. And also, this person is drunk. You don't know what,
So
kids play with stuff like that. We're talking about a weapon that could end someone's life around a
that
child,
right.
10 or not, 10 or 5. It doesn't matter. Go ahead, Tasha.
Not to cut you off right
No,
there. Let me ask you. So is it the part about her being inebriated or the part about the child learning self-defense? Which part was
it's
it that makes it bad?
the part that makes it bad is the inebriation, it being on live. This is not but this is not a child learning self defense, Tasha. If Petty was on live with her gun and showing her child self defense, I would say she's showing her child self defense. This would not be that conversation. The conversation is here because she's intoxicated while her child is touching a gun and not supposed to be, and they're on live. This is not a I'm teaching my child self defense. That's not what this was.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes.
maybe I might have to sit back and
I'm going to
listen
show you
more,
the
if
video, but this
anything.
was an
But
intoxicated parent on live in front of thousands of people with a gun taking off the safety where a young child is touching the gun. That's what
I
this
do
is.
want to.
If
I do want to say that I am pro gun for that. Like
and
I
that's
would love
fine.
for my
That's
kids
fine.
to learn at a young age to protect themselves because there is 11-year-olds shooting up schools nowadays.
No, we're
So
not taking.
yeah,
I'm
at
with
one
you.
point you gotta be, But all right,
No, I'm with you. And the thing about it is, listen, I'm not pro or nor I'm not because I have my gun and I don't have a license. But if you are a parent who wants to teach your child self defense and a gun and X, Y, and Z, um, that's fine. I'm not taking that away. That's your choice because that might be a life and death as long as you're responsible with it. What the issue here with Petty is you're drinking and you have a gun and it's unlocked and your child is touching the gun. The gun is pointed down. Whether you put the safety on or not, you're intoxicated, inebriated around a child who's touching your weapon. There's 1,000 ways this could go wrong. That's poor judgment. Whether it was unlocked, whether it wasn't locked, whether it was loaded, whether it wasn't loaded, that has nothing to do with this. We are looking, I'm looking at the principle here. Because when I saw those little beautiful black children in the bathroom playing with the gun, and then the little girl said boop to her friend, and then looked at the gun and said boop, and they killed each other, and y'all saying 9 or 10, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter 9 or 10. It doesn't matter 5 or 6. It doesn't even matter 12 or 13. There's an intoxicated, inebriated parent on live with a firearm that could have harmed the child, or the child could have harmed either or. That was her cousin she accidentally shot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So let me just show y'all the video really quick. And I love Petty down, but I just think this was bad. I just think this was not appropriate. You gonna make me an Hold up. So I have to cover it. But here's the weapon. The weapon's in her hand. I'll flash it really quick. See? There's the weapon. And you see her touch it? She touched it. See? It's my gun. The blicky. It's the blicky. Yeah. Yeah, it's the blicky. Huh? How would you see it? And you see it's on the bed right there? Yeah. It's on the bed. No, you didn't. I can never taste it before. And she's drunk. You gonna make me another one? I never tasted it. Straight up. Wow. Huh? Thinking in my books that I got from school. I'm thinking in your books. Hold up. I always try to figure out. See her touch it? I always figure out what that is, what that does. That's my gun. The beaky. So I'm gonna let y'all up to talk about it. I just have to say, Petty, I just think that was a bad judgment. I think it made you look irresponsible in that moment. This is not a moment where you're teaching your child self-defense. And I'm only saying this to you because it happened on live. What you do in your house is your personal business. I don't think Petty's a bad mom. I don't think Petty's a bad whatever. I think she's great. I think she's actually fabulous. But this is the type of stuff where I would not gag if people tried to do the CPS or X, Y, and Z. I mean, this is not a good look. Petty the Bell, yes, and I love her down, but I just have to keep it. Go ahead.
Also, it's messed up because people are saying that she's actually a felon. So she's not even supposed to be in possession of a gun. So if they report this, either way, CPS could easily be involved. That's why this was so irresponsible and so reckless. And to the other girl or whatever, if you're going to teach your kids self-defense, please do it sober. And please don't be showing them what the safety at, because the girl didn't point to the gun. She pointed to the safety and said, I always wondered what this was. So that's it, y'all.
Yeah, scary part because that's a child. Children are curious. What if Petty fell asleep and the gun is right there, and then she picks it up and blows her own head off, or blows Petty's head off? I think people are not understanding the severity of this. This is not a scenario where it's someone teaching their child safety sober. You're drunk on live. This it's dangerous, and children want to learn. That is how that those things happen.
Yeah, no, she can miss me with I'm a southerner and that's what we do. I'm from Georgia. I'm from the country, born and raised. We hunt and everything. I have all kind of guns in my house. And while my kids do know gun safety, they know how to unload it, load it, clean it, all of that. You never ever put your hands on a gun when you are intoxicated. You never have your gun just out and about when your kids are around. There's a difference. Yes, I advocate for gun safety. Kids are curious. And I know my kids, if they see something and they don't know what it is and I don't tell them, they're going to try to figure it out on their own. So yes, I do agree that they should be taught what it is and not to touch it or when to touch it if they're in a dangerous situation and they need help. But you don't do that while you're drunk. Like even when we go out hunting, you don't drink, you don't put your hands on a gun when you're intoxicated at all.
Well, yes, that would make her. What I'm saying is, I've known Petty to be a great mom. I've known Petty to be a great, never be in issues with certain things. But this would make. I would not stop people if they were calling her a bad mom after this. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I would not. I would understand why people would have that perspective. Absolutely. This was irresponsible. It was bad judgment. It made you look really bad. It's not okay. Go ahead.
From one troll to another. Tasha Allen, don't get your motherfucking ass up here trying to run that motherfucking narrative that y'all running over there in Bookman Live. One thing about it, that was not a teachable moment. She's doing ignorant at its best. Ignorance. Ignorance. We're not going to make this a black thing or white thing. We're going to make this just an irresponsible thing. Thank you.
I don't know how y'all involved in this. I think got nothing to do with color.
Hey, hey.
Hitting.
So, we love Patty, okay? And after saying that, that was not the best judgment, okay? Patty, I love you, big time. I also am pro gun, and I have taught all of my sons since they were small, and I also learned when I was very small. I've been hunting since I was 2, but it's safety first. It's always safety first, and you always treat any weapon as if it is loaded at all times. At all times. I don't care if it's taken apart. You treat it like it's loaded. And I mean, my heart for her right now, that I'm pretty sure she probably like swallowing this the best she can, but girl, it's tough out there in these big old streets. I love you, girl.
I
Drop me
love you too,
down,
but we
baby.
gotta keep it spade. I love it. We gotta keep a spade a spade. That made you look like a bad mom. That made you look irresponsible. And if the people got CPS involved, if the people showed them, I wouldn't be up here gagging. I wouldn't be up here gasping and surprised, because that's something that's very dangerous and very scary.
Oh my god, Robert. No, she did not. I love Petty. I've known Petty for a long time, but come on, Petty. That's sloppy. You know that's sloppy, girl. What was you doing? And everybody knows gun safety. Everybody in this live probably knows gun safety. I have 2 boys. They're gun trained, same as everybody else just said. But we also know when it's appropriate and when it's not. And don't do it while you're drunk. Let's be responsible. Come on, Petty. You know better.
we can still love somebody, but we can also keep it a stack. That's the thing about being mature. You know, thank you, Mad Dog. We can still love somebody without having to be like, whatever, like, but we got to keep it a stack. Thank you, Mad Dog. Go ahead.
Hi, Robert. Yeah, I don't know who this Petty is, but just based off the name, I can tell that, she gets petty like that.
Yeah, I don't know what that last caller was, but yeah, yeah, I'm gonna just call a spade a spade. I don't care what people think beforehand. She's a horrible mom now. So maybe beforehand we didn't know her, but now we do. She's a horrible mom. There's no telling what else worse she do off camera if she would do something like that on camera. And the little girl was so intrude. It's no telling what she would do when Petty's not looking and get that gun and do anything. She was really interested. Petty, you a horrible fucking mom and you don't need your fucking kid. Period. And I hope that little girl got a father, because bitch, that little girl's gone.
Ma'am, it's in trees. Okay, bye.
Okay, so I just want to point out a couple things. Can we be fair that the gun was holstered? And when the little girl did say that she was curious about what this was, Petty explained it was a safety. It's not like she handed her daughter the gun. She didn't put it in her hand or nothing. Like, it seems like it's dragging. Like,
That's your
it's
opinion.
being
That's your
dragged.
opinion, my love. That's your
Okay.
opinion. That's your opinion. But I just want to say that it's dragging until something serious happens. Is it dragging until she shoots someone? Is it dragging until a little black girl, a little black boy who's intrigued gets a hold of that and then blows their brains out? I mean, listen, if y'all think that is dragging and y'all think that it's okay and justified, then by all means, have weapons around y'all's children. By all means, get drunk and leave guns on the counter for y'all kids to explore and play with. If that's how y'all feel. I just don't feel like it's dragging at all. So I'd have to disagree. That's your opinion and you're entitled to it. For me, this is very serious. This is the type of stuff that CPS would step in. This is the type of stuff where CPS would take your kids from you. So, I mean, if you feel like it's dragging, that's fine. But CPS wouldn't think that this is dragging. CPS would come in and take some kids. You don't have kids, so you wouldn't know. Well, baby, it's not about having kids. It's about common sense. You see, I may not have kids, but I've worked with kids damn near half of my life. I may not have kids, but I've had cousins. I may not have kids, but I have guns. I may not have kids, but I've had guns around kids. And they don't motherfucking be accessible to children at all. So, no shade. You don't need to have kids to have a brain.
How you doing, Robert?
Hey, baby.
Love the hair.
Thank
I
you.
need that diamond thing on your head too, because I want to go show off this weekend. But let me say this: any parent knows
Sorry, not
that
take them.
you're
CPS will come check out house situations because of stuff like that. My bad. Yes, you're right there.
well, they need to, and I think they need to start putting stuff in order with laws and stuff, because children are not supposed to even see guns. When you have a gun, you're supposed to have it in a safe, locked up in your bedroom, somewhere where the kids can't reach it. That little girl, she knew about that gun, so that means that's not the first time. So that means it's really getting out of hand. And if anything happened to that little girl, everybody that's taken up for this lady should be held responsible and should be getting children's services looked at their kids, because any parent knows that you're not supposed to have a gun, period, around children, period. It's common sense.
Well, listen, we're going to have two sides. We're going to have the pro guns, the not pro guns. And that's fine. Whichever side you guys are. Some of y'all are teaching your children about guns. Some of y'all are like hell to the gnaw. I respect both sides, and please don't disrespect each other, you guys. If she's saying that she doesn't want guns around her children, that's her choice. She doesn't want any risk or capability of something happening or them hurt. And then also, like somebody said in the comments, we don't know children's mental capability. When those kids was in that bathroom and she shot her cousin, they was playing with the guns like it was a squirt gun or a fucking like regular gun. Like children are intrigued. So we don't know about exactly what the capability is. Some of y'all are coming from personal experience because you teach your children that, and that's fine. I'm not taking that away from y'all. If that's what you believe, teaching your children about guns and gun safety in case to protect themselves, that is absolutely fine. If some of y'all are like, hell no, there wouldn't be a gun anywhere in my house and kids wouldn't be able to touch it, that's absolutely fine. But the principle of this video is, what I'm looking at is a drunk woman with a young child touching their firearm and being intrigued that could have went left. So let me just show you again, and then I'll let you guys come on up again, just for reference, so people can see this. Huh? Pictures in my books that I got from school. I'm thinking in your books. I always try to figure out what these because they look like the. It's my gun. A blicky? The blicky. It's the blicky. Blicky? Yeah, it's the blicky. Huh? How have you seen it? And there it is on the bed. Why? Yeah, but I did. No, you didn't. I never tasted it. Yeah. You come back in and so yes, the gun was pointed down, and the child touched the safety, asking about it, and then it was on the bed, and she was intoxicated. I mean, she might have listen. She might have taught her, that they might know, but like I said, I'm looking at a specific factor in this. Go ahead.
So first off, I'm gonna start by saying I'm pro guns, but I'm not pro idiotic. That was idiotic. It's one thing to have guns, but like she said, you're supposed to have it stored away in a closet, in a safe that a kid can't reach to, and it's supposed to be unloaded. Who even knows if that gun was not, if it was even on safety? Cause that bitch definitely seemed more than drunk. It definitely seemed like there was definitely some pills in there mixed with the liquor. Let's be fair, y'all. It's one thing to teach your kids, but when you talking about blicky and this and that, you're not teaching them properly. You're not teaching them how to unload and load it in the safety of a gun. She over there waving it around. What if the gun went off? And another thing, like you said, a lot of times when kids shoot guns, they think that it's a toy. They think that it's a water gun. If that gun is loaded and she shoots her mom or even herself or her family, what would y'all say now? How can y'all even justify that? I be wanting to see into y'all motherfucking homes because the shit that y'all would just let slide says a lot about you.
Trina, did you want to come up and speak on it? Thank you, Trina. Did you want to come up and speak on it? Go ahead.
Hey, Zeus.
How
I
did you?
was in a live last night with this young lady. I don't know her, but she did clarify the video. She said she was not drunk, and she said that her daughter knows how to use the weapon. She did say that. It was what was that lady named? Tommy. It was in Tommy's live, and she was in the box, and she said that she was not drunk, she was tired, and she said her daughter goes to the gun range with her all the time, and her daughter knows exactly how to use that gun. And she was saying that everybody is blowing everything out of proportion, which I never seen what you just showed everybody. But here in Georgia, I don't know where she live at,
Well, what do you
but
think
here
from
in
that? What do
Georgia,
you
they
think?
don't.
What do you think from that video? Do you think that she was drunk or tired?
I don't know her, and I never seen her live,
No,
so
I
I
know,
don't
but what
know.
do you think from that video I just showed you?
It looks like she was off something, maybe some sleeping pills or something like that. But here in Georgia, I will say this. I don't like to go to the gun range in Georgia because there are a lot of kids. Georgia don't have a law for kids, no age. As long as your parent is there, their kid could be right on the side of you shooting a gun. And I'm going to let you guys know something, how crazy this is. You can look this up. A kid accidentally shot the worker because the kid raised the gun up and it hit, the bullet went up in the air in the gun range, and the bullet fell down and killed the worker. It was all over the news here in Atlanta. And it was nothing that nobody could do because they said that the kids are allowed to go to the gun range. So it happens all the time. You know, they're teaching their kids early with this stuff.
So you said you feel as if she was off of some type of possible substance, something.
Looking at the video, she looked like she was,
So
but
what?
off that
So do you
live
think? So do
yesterday,
you think that makes a difference in this video? And in terms of like, do you think this is a bad parenting 101? Do you think that this is a foul move? Do you think that this is enough, to be investigated and looked at, or do you think people are dragging it? What do you think?
my honest opinion, I'm gonna have to be transparent with this. If she was drunk, I think you need to have your weapons put up no matter what, if you got your kids trained to use them or not, because accidents can happen. So if she was drunk, I think that was inappropriate parenting behavior. But I don't know if she was drunk, but based off that video, she looked like she was halfway asleep or drunk or something. And she didn't have full control of the gun in her hand at that time.
Ding ding.
But when I'm going by the video, what she said yesterday, she was saying that the little girl is equipped and know how to use the gun. You know, I'm a parent. I never taught my daughter how to
But
use the
see, this
gun.
is the
She's,
thing. This is the thing for me. All of that being equipped and knowing what a gun is and all of that goes out the window because it's still a child.
I
And,
agree.
and children can know everything in the world, but that doesn't mean they still aren't going to put their hand on the stove again just to see if it's still hot one day.
I agree. And I will say this, being on this app, from observing so much stuff that goes on, how people's kids get taken and everything, people got to start being careful on this app because now that can jeopardize her of losing her child after she said in the live yesterday that the gun did not have no bullets in there and she was not drunk. But with the audience looking in, you know how Bigo is. They're very, very messy and they will articulate something that's not even true and they will make it true. And I've seen people
Of
go
course.
through some disaster
But
situations
this,
on
but,
this app.
but this,
So
but this is a scenario where I would understand if CPS investigated not on the point of people being messy, but on that video itself, because they would ask questions like you were, like, "Ma'am, it looked like you were possibly on something, or were you? Was there pills? Was there alcohol? Why did you allow the child to touch the gun while you were not in full control?" They would ask these types of questions, things like that. It's the safety of the children that they would inquire about. It's not. This is not, Kincaid, a scenario where, like, people are trying to say someone is teaching self-defense to their child. This is a scenario where there might have not, you might not have, like you said, been in full control of the situation going on, and anything could have happened. Because we have, I mean, this is a gun. This is a gun.
you're absolutely right because it was disturbing to see that video just now. But off that live yesterday, you would have never thought that's how the video played out.
See?
Because I didn't know who the lady was. She was just in a box and
Yeah.
she was just cursing
But
a
now that you
lot of
saw
people
that
out.
video, you might have a different perspective. Like, well, even though you said that,
Yep, I agree.
and that's why I show this out of context to see what you guys think about it. Thank you, Kincaid, baby. We need 6K. We need 6. Yes. Thank you.
She have a history of child endangerment before. She has been to jail before. A couple of years back, she was in jail for child endangerment before. And then on top of it, do y'all also know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And do y'all also know that this bitch do pills, drugs, and drink
How do
as
you know?
well? And
How do you know
there's
this?
no way that bitch cannot look at that video and tell me there wasn't nothing wrong with that bitch.
How
The
do you know
problem
this?
is not the gun. And the problem is it's not the gun. It's that she was drunk. And the problem is that she was intoxicated with that gun and she was waving it around and didn't have full control over the gun. That baby put her hand on that gun as well. And now she said the baby is going to the gun range. The baby know how to use it. You a motherfucking lie, bitch. And all of a sudden the baby going to the gun range on Saturday. The baby going to the gun range now. Well, how we never knew the baby was going to a gun range. And furthermore, they said you are not even allowed to even, you are a convicted felon and not allowed to even have a gun. So therefore, um, you need to check into that, Robert, and find out because this bitch sitting over there. Because I decided not to pursue the situation because I didn't want to get my karma, but this bitch is supposed to be really locked up at this moment. She should be locked up, and she also should be. See, I'm having CPS investigating. I'm not saying her kids need to be gone, but an investigation needs to start, and she needs some parenting skills or something.
Okay. Okay. All right. I didn't. Trina, please don't ever try to read paragraphs again. Lord, you this morning trying to read was taking me out. Um, I I didn't know anything about a felon. I did see a mugshot they showed. This is the first time I actually agree with Trina. They did show me a mugshot. I didn't know that, and then I didn't know. I like Petty, but I didn't know that she admitted to taking pills and drinking. I don't know anything about that. But if she has admitted that, then Petty, if you have admitted that and said those things, that's immediately the first thing that people are going to go to on this. Because if you say you do pills, they're going to say you are high and or drunk. And then if you have a criminal past as well, this is a lot of factors that go into this. Well, they said that she said it herself. So I'm just saying, if that is the case, let me show you. Um, let me show you the video one more time, and then I see you on the queue. Give me just a second. Well, no, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to leave her alone because we talk about everybody else. So just because I like somebody, don't mean I'm not going to talk about them. This shit was wrong. I think it was bad parenting. I think it was a bad look. I don't think it was right. I don't think the child should have been in that scenario. I think it was crazy. Huh? Take it in my books that I got from school. I'm taking in your books. Nah, Petty, it look like you want something, baby. You're drunk. She touching the gun right there. That's my gun. No shade to you, Petty. You got one eye squinting, girl. Yeah, that's a biggie. You talking in slow motion, girl. No shade. Huh? How was your sandwich? I didn't even taste it. Yeah. You didn't bring it to me. I did. No, you didn't. I never tasted it. It's right there in the bed. You gonna make me another one? I never tasted it. Straight up. Wow. Yes. Huh? That's what I think that's the perspective that I'm coming from, you guys. And I think just a second before I let y'all up. I think the accident is, I'm not coming for attacking Petty so much. I'm just coming, well, a part of me is attacking you because I think it was not smart and I think it was irresponsible. Accident take 1 second to occur. That's what I'm saying. Like, it takes 1 second for something wrong to happen. It takes 1 second for the child to pick it up and shoot you or shoot. Like, that's what I'm trying to say to y'all. It takes one for, and I know some gun owners are like, baby, you're not taking this
Robert,
serious.
stop right there. I'm asking a question. What is going so on? I'm so bad in her house that she have to have a gun now. Thank you. What is going on that she got to have a gun now in front of children?
I don't know. No one's saying take the child. I don't know, Trina. No one's saying take the child from the mom. What I'm saying is this would be something that if CPS did investigate, I would understand why they did that. I don't think anyone's child should be taken. It's not giving that because there's people. What I'm saying is this was just not something that, hey, Petty, give me just a second.
Hey, I just wanted to say that, yeah, you guys are right. She's a little girl. She shouldn't have been experienced anything like that. In Texas, no, it's not. Kids don't go to the gun range. So I'm not calling Petty a lie. I'm just speaking on what's the law. And another thing I wanted to say was, you had that one kid that's just, be always up under you when you spoil them. That little girl is like that with Petty. That's like one of her, that's her other half. So I mean, I could just imagine, she just probably was just, she probably always tell that just for protection. I don't think it was nothing she meant was to me for it to be wrong. I think it was just how we take it and how it looked, and it didn't really look good because you're not supposed to do that with a child. But maybe that's just one of their relationships. You know how I knew what my mama stuff was in her purse. She hid. She might have a little change here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying. I'm not trying to dress it up to make it feel like she's right. I'm just trying to say, like, yeah, when you're in a close relationship with your parents, sometimes you can become around danger and experience things that you're not supposed to experience. And I'm gonna get down.
I just wanna question to y'all. Thank you, Mad Dog. Run it up, y'all. We need 5K. I just want to pose a question to y'all because I do feel like a lot of y'all, no shade, I do feel like some of y'all are trying to soften the blow. And that's entitled. Some of y'all don't think it's serious. I just want to ask the ones who don't think it's serious, if you walked in on a family member with your child in this scenario, or if it was your child with the family member and you saw this video, would you have the same sentiment? I just really want to know. You know what I'm saying? Would you have the same? Would you be okay with this? I truly am asking because some of y'all do have children, and some of y'all, oh, and also, hold up, Petty Banks. Also, for the gun owners in the live, have you ever been intoxicated or even tired or even on any type of whatever, any of the scenarios y'all are saying? Because now you're saying there's no alcohol, no pills. She's just saying no alcohol, she's tired. Have you ever been tired with a firearm around a child who's curious about it, even if they're educated? I'm just asking for the firearm for the people who are pro gun. Like, I'm just asking y'all about that. Go ahead.
Hey, Robert. I like Patty. I think she's very funny.
I
She's
do
a very,
too, but we got to call a spade a
very
spade.
beautiful young lady. Yeah, but we're gonna stick to the facts. The fact is, she stated that her daughter had experience and been around guns. Then why would she even question what it was in the first place? If she had been experienced and been around guns and can shoot a gun, why would she even ask, "What is this?" And you wouldn't have to say, "Oh, that's my gun," because she would have known what it was. So I mean, my kids grew up around a gun range, but it wasn't until they were 16, 17, old enough to still get their license. And I had to sign for them to get their license. And I wanted my boys to go to the range so they could be, not just aiming at random things. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think hopefully this is a learning experience. I don't think that her children should be taken from her, but she definitely needs to be a learning experience.
Yeah, her children need to be taken from her either, but I do think that the children, wouldn't be surprised if there was some investigation because
Let me just say this: it's very selective outrage. I see with her they're a little softer, but let it would have been 21 or Angelique Soul or
he's
somebody like
right.
that.
He's right.
Heard her scream, all kind of shit, and want to call the police and all that because they jealous of certain people, and they are they don't like certain people, and they feel like that's what it is. Some of these people don't like certain people and feel dislike towards a person, start disliking a person, and then they have selective outrage when something happened like this. See, Patty don't have that kind of think about it because she's really not really noticed too much on the app. Let's be real. She's really not been too noticed, and people just really start watching her. But Patty been reckless. She's
I
been
didn't
reckless
see.
with
I
the
didn't know
children.
that. And Trina,
Uh,
I don't think no one.
and she been reckless.
I don't think no one's jealous, but I completely agree with you with the selective outrage because, well, 21 has made that name for herself as well as Angelic Soul. They have shown that they're bad mothers. They have shown what Petty did here is what Angelic and 21 have done. But I'm not even going to lie to you. I think that this is probably even worse or just as bad
Word.
as Angelic and 21 because this is a gun, this is a weapon, and this is you not having full control with a child there. I think this is probably worse than those two, if you want me to be honest with you, in my opinion.
Yeah. Me too. I said the same thing. That's worse. That's worse. So if Angelique Soul and 21 had CPS called on them, why is nobody is really getting CPS involved in this and saying that they don't need their children? She don't need her
Well,
child.
I do agree with
Baby,
you with the selective
baby.
outrage, but also 21 and Angelic have done, and we're not going to make this about them, but let's not act like 21 and Angelic have not done foul things to have their children taken away. See, the difference between this scenario, Trina, and that scenario is we said this scenario deserves an investigation because something could go horribly wrong. The two ladies you're talking about got their children taken away because they've been doing horribly wrong shit to their kids for a long time. So this is not that per
No,
se.
no, 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 no. I can say 21 has not. 21 did not do real stuff. No, nobody tell.
Trina, we're not gonna make this about 21, and we're not gonna make because bring that over to your live and let them attack you. Because over here, baby, this is a different ball game, Trina, and we're not gonna kick and mute them, and they will wear and tear you out. We are not gonna make this about them ladies because I don't care for them, and I'm not being selective, but I can go down the list of things that both of those ladies have done to their children that is nasty. I can go down the list of things that those ladies have done, but we're not gonna make that about them. Can y'all give me to this fifth box?
All right.
We need two
So
cats.
I don't normally come up. I don't normally come up here ever. But number one, if the kid had proper gun safety, they wouldn't have been handling the gun like that. Like I don't think they would have been handling the gun like that. Number two, she needs services. So the people who don't think that she needs to have her kid taken away, she needs services right now. If she is on drugs, if she is on alcohol or whatever, we need to go ahead and do that now. I'm a social worker, and the biggest thing that helps with this is prevention. So, if this was the first time, we need to intervene now so that future things do not happen. It's about intervention, and you want to think about the extremes of taking her kid away. But what happens then? If you really want to talk about rehabilitation and her being a better person, now is the time to get that in place. So that's all I wanted to say. Like, we have to talk about more than just the gun. It was the gun, but it's also like she was on things, she was on pills. You have to look at the whole environment.
Yeah, yeah.
Alrighty, thank you.
And I believe, and I think that's what we're looking at. Some people are looking at, was the gun cocked? Was it loaded? Was it not? Was it this? Where was it pointing? And I just think that a social service or something like that, they would step in and look at this. And then also, while I love Petty Down, this is not softening the blow. If you say you do pills, you have criminal record, you have been convicted, and you are a felon, what the fuck are you doing with a gun in the house next to a child? You fucking look crazy. And your ass should be in jail. You was wrong as fuck for that, Petty. That was not, and I'm not gonna soften the blow and say bad judgment and irresponsible. Because if that little girl picked up that gun because you was tired, or you was on pills, or you was drunk and shot and killed herself, or you, everybody who thinks we're dragging it would not be saying that. They would be like, oh, it was stupid. You gotta think. You gotta think before you do shit like that. You're a black woman. You gotta think before you do shit like that. You're a mother. That little girl picks up that gun and shoots you or her, it's over. Whether it's on live or not. We're talking about it because it was on live. You gotta think. Don't come up in people's box and be like, well, she's educated. Well, nobody gives a fuck about if she's educated or not. You shouldn't have been whatever type of impaired. Because technically, if you're even saying that you was tired and she grabbed that shit and blew somebody's brains off or hers because you was tired, if I have weapons, I don't have kids. If I ever have anything around children, I make sure I'm fully alert and aware, because anything could go wrong at any second. That's what everybody's trying to say. It's not the fact that there's education. It's not the fact that there was defense. If you was online with that little girl teaching her how to pull stuff and do all that, that's one thing. That is not this. You were negligent, you were irresponsible, and you were stupid. Go ahead.
Hey, Robert.
Yes.
There's so many factors to this program. pro gun situation and that child, it's like the other person said, if she was educated about it, she wouldn't ask, um, what is this? And I always wondered, it's like if she's been seeing the gun around and her mom just never told her what it's about. Sorry, excuse my voice. And then it's good to be pro gun because we're black people, and if the white men know how to shoot and their kids know how to shoot, why shouldn't we? But still, like, your child shouldn't know nothing about no gun. If you have a gun, they shouldn't even know, because you never know. And then it comes down to where bullies, if they're being bullied at school, they could always take that gun and go shoot up somebody or something. So it's just crazy. But I agree with you, Robert.
You are. And the thing about it is, what I just want people to understand is these are children. For all my program people, I love y'all down. These are children. I just think that anytime you have accessible weapons, you should be fully alert if there are children around because you never fucking know. That's all I'm saying. We need 2K. We need 2K. Can we? Thank you, Mad Dog.
And yesterday they also said that she waved the gun around on live again yesterday for the second time. Waved the gun on live and got banned yesterday. So I'm out of being angry about what people were saying. She reached up and grabbed the gun and went and waving it around again yesterday and got banned. And then on top of this, um that little girl was not 10 years old. That little girl looked like she's like 5 or 6 or 7 years old. That baby is not 10. And then another thing, y'all just trying to cover her because she was in Tommy fucking live yesterday trying to explain. She was in Tommy live and Tommy and her are cool because the Pastor Pete, she trades with Tommy and she talks to Tommy and that's her buddy. But that's the reason why they were trying to soften it up and trying to help her over there and be nice to that bitch. But she didn't come in the lion's den where I was or where you at now to say all that shit and make excuses. They were making excuses, and also she made excuses like she didn't do nothing wrong. She still feel like she didn't do anything wrong today.
We need 1804. I just want the people who are making excuses to think, would you ever allow that around your children? Would you ever have that around your children? Would you ever allow someone to be like that around your children? The people who think that it's, not a big deal, I just want you to make sure that you have the same sentiment when you're in those types of things.
Hey, Rob.
Go ahead.
Is that my phone making all the noise?
No, well, it's kind of like weird, but go ahead.
I don't know where you guys live that you all feel that a child that small needs to know anything about a gun. No shade. I want to keep my kids' mind as pure as possible. I don't think that's appropriate. That's just my take on it. That's for anybody, not just petty. Everybody. That child was a good 5 or 6 to me, whether she was drunk or not. I think exposing your kids to even the point of a gun is kind of extreme, but whatever.
And that's your opinion. Different state, different laws. In Texas, baby, some of the people is like, well, honey, you old enough to walk and talk. Here's how we use a gun. And I'm not taking that away from y'all. That is y'all's experience. What I'm saying is, children are children. Children are innocent. Children do innocent things. Whether you're tired, drunk, high, on pills, that is a dangerous weapon. And it takes one slip up. You could be in jail forever, Petty, or dead. Or that little girl could be dead because of your negligence, because of them grabbing a gun while you're tired. Since we're going with the tired thing, since she said that, let's go with this. Let's go with the tired. Let's go with the tired scenario. Since she said you're tired, if you were tired and she's interested and you fell asleep in that moment, and she picked it up and waved it around and took the safety off because that's what she touched, then what? These are solid concrete things. What I just don't think that people are fathoming the reality of it just takes one moment and you don't get that back. That's it. Like I said, when you saw those little black kids, those little two beautiful black precious kids in the bathroom playing with that gun, their parent had to come home to that with them both dead in the bathroom. Thank you. We need 2K. With them both dead, they were waving around the gun like it was water guns and shot each other in the head or in the living room, wherever the fuck it was. I just think that people need to understand the severity of this. Okay, let Mixer be. Somebody y'all coming up. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Because I got on headphones.
Yep, I hear you. They killed each other on live.
Okay.
Yep. Horrible. So sad.
Okay. So, yeah, like I'm in Texas and I don't feel like, she did anything wrong. The reason being is because, like I said, we're in Texas and it doesn't matter where you live at. Like, it's crime happens everywhere. For Trina talking about, oh, I don't know, like how her living status, like, why would she have a gun? Like, the richest motherfuckers get their house broken into. So that was definitely invalid. And, yeah, like, I don't see anything wrong with it. Her child asked the question. She educated her what the feature was. And then that's that. Her child doesn't seem like, I don't want to say like, I guess autistic or I want to use the R word. Just to be around playing with guns and stuff. Like she wanted to know what it was and boom, that was it. It doesn't matter if she was high or if she was sleepy. A kid gonna have questions. They gonna want to know. And I don't own a gun because my Lord is my rod, and He's gonna accompany me by any motherfucking thing there is. So yeah, that's just.
Question mixed with Beyonce. Question really quick. Question. Okay. Do you have knives in your house?
Yes, I do have knives.
Do you have anything in your house that could be used as a weapon that you would never have your children in possession with?
No.
Okay,
I
so you don't
mean,
have
if you want to classify like a knife, then I guess
like a what?
that.
A what?
If you want to classify like a knife as dangerous, then I guess yeah.
A what that's dangerous?
A knife. A
A knife.
knife. You asked
Okay,
me if I
yeah.
had a knife.
A knife. A knife. Okay, a knife. We'll say a knife. We'll say a knife. Okay, a big ass knife. Okay.
Yeah.
If you were on the bed and you were tired, or you were high, or you were drunk, and you had the knife with you, would you put the knife away, or would you be comfortable enough falling asleep while after your child asked questions about what it is?
I would, have the knife away, like it's supposed to be in the kitchen. But who's to say, like, she don't sleep with her gun under the pillow or she don't sleep with it in the nightstand? Because motherfuckers do that shit. It ain't no telling if she live in the hood and she got to sleep with it under her pillow, if she in some beef or some drama, or if she had some
So ghetto.
previous beef the previous night. You know,
It's okay.
who's to say? Petty, she's not a big broadcaster on the app, so it's not a lot of traffic that comes in her room. So if she was to, like be a bad mom, I'm sure we would have heard something. Like this is the first incident, and I'm not gonna deem her as a bad mom because this is the first incident that we heard or saw her do
Well, they
versus
pulled up.
everybody else
Well,
on this
they pulled.
motherfucker.
They gagged me because they pulled up mugshots and everything, and said that there's a criminal record and you
Mama.
and all this stuff like this. I had no clue of all this.
Yeah, but with her being a felon, that don't mean you can't have a gun because you're a felon. Although that's the law, but who's to say like that's our first right? Is to protect ourselves. It's to bear arms. Fuck if you felon or not, bitch. You just don't get caught with it.
All right, get down,
That's
Mr.
just
B.
it.
Get down. I'll say the ghetto. The ghetto. Wait, we need 2K. I love her because she is ghetto. I'm sorry. Is ghetto cracking me up. Oh shit, I love her. She said it's the law, but whatever. We need 2K, y'all. Go ahead.
Hey, Robert.
Hey.
So I'm stuck in the middle when it comes to this, right? Just because, yes, to her lockbox, and he went to her lockbox and killed her. Now he's being tried as an adult
Who?
because you didn't read that story about the little boy who got mad over the Oculus, and he went to his mom's lockbox, got the gun, and killed her. And now they're trying him as an adult.
Because kids are kids.
So,
Kids are kids. Regardless of what y'all safety and y'all teaching them.
so
Hold up. And I love y'all
right.
down. If you're pro gun and you teach your children all of that, that's fine. But I'm sure everybody in here who's pro gun and teaching their children, make sure that it's not accessible unless there's an extreme scenario. This is an example of that. And this wasn't even an extreme scenario. This was just a gun chilling out on the bed next to you while you was tired. Go ahead.
Yep. So I was just saying, like, I personally wouldn't teach my kids about guns, but at the same time, we living in 2023 where maybe they have to, defend me and learn how to use it. If, I was to be attacked or whatever, then that child would know how to use the gun. But I wouldn't teach my child how to use the gun to use it towards me, though. And I think that's very sad that he was just entitled and felt like he needed the Oculus. Well, if I can't have it, I'm going to kill you. He really killed his mom over an Oculus. So,
Thank you. I I love y'all down, but there's always a but. I just feel like there shouldn't be a but in this scenario. And I'm not trying to sway y'all from having guns, not having guns, but I just don't feel like there's a but in this scenario. I just don't feel like but she was just tired. That's not gonna work for me. And looking at this, oh well, but she was on pills. Nah. Oh well, but she was a little drunk. All of that is fucked up. Like none is better than the other. If you want me to be honest with you, none is better than the other. This is how accidents happen, and they happen in a second. We need 2K. We need 2K. I got you, Cookie with Free and Abby and Natural Born Woman. I see y'all. Go ahead.
I think I'm a better grandfather than she is a mother. And the reason why I would say that because what if that would have been me? Now and then I'm finna. What if that I would have been waving a gun around my grandbabies? What y'all would have did, bitches? What would you would have did? If it would have been me, what would you bitches would have did? It would have been outraged right now. Call CPS, RHI. I'll just take them kids away. Them kids don't need to be around here. Them kids don't need to do this. Them kids don't need to do that. If my grandkids, next time my grandkids come over here, I'm gonna swing my gun around my pistol. Let me see what y'all gonna do. Thank you.
Why Trina got to about him? And he knows why he gets crucified. So we're not even going to go down that road with you, Trina. It's not about you right now. And he knows exactly why he get crucified because of shit like that. Lord. He knows what's going on with him and his son. Go ahead.
Hey, love you down. So, I'm on both sides of the spectrum because I was raised since before I could walk and talk about guns and shotguns and rifles because I grew up in a family of hunters from up the country, as y'all can tell by my little country accent, and my dad was ex-military. I think part of the problem is that we have guns in our house, but we don't educate the children on them and we don't keep them locked up. I think there's a difference between having a weapon in your house and not educating and not keeping safety measures in place. Also, if she was, taking pills or whatever,
What
I
do
don't
you
think
think
that
from
that
that
was
video?
safe.
What do you think from that video? Thank you, Diamond.
I mean, I don't know her personally, but it looked like something was going on. I don't think that's something that should have been done on live in the way that she was just kind of, from what I could see, just waving the gun around. That's different than teaching and educating your child about gun safety.
Two different things.
Like we went outside, yeah. Like when my dad taught me, he took me outside, and like my son has been hunting since he was 4 or 5 years old, but it was with the supervision of an adult. And it's not like they leave their guns out willy-nilly or laying in bed or in the house. It was for a purpose. You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference between educating and just, like I said, just having a gun laying around. I think both should happen. I think education is important, but I also think that it should be done by somebody who is, in their right mind or that's actually teaching them for a reason. Because I could say the same thing about knives. Like, people kill people with knives all the time. We've heard about teenagers and kids taking knives and stabbing and killing people. So are you going to remove all the knives from your home, or are you going to educate the child about certain things, or keep them in an area where they don't have easy access to them? So it's all about the purpose behind it. And I get some people are not gun, they don't like guns, they don't want them in the house, and that's completely up to you. But I was raised on guns. I got one in my house. My son did not have access to my gun. He didn't know the combination to the lock, and I didn't just keep it out next to my nightstand. Like, it was locked up. But it's different strokes for different folks. But I feel like it should be taught by somebody. Like, they should be taught about them, like the safety issues, the what's, when and where you should utilize one, and they should not just have access to be able to touch it, into like what she was doing in the bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's an appropriate way to teach someone how to handle a gun. Um, I don't agree with what she did and the way she did it. So that's where my thought process come in. But I can also say, I've never seen her do anything. Maybe she needs to be educated. Sometimes people just need to be educated. We be so ready to shoot them and say, oh, you doing wrong, you doing wrong. But I mean, depending on how you were raised, or what your history is, sometimes people need to be taught new things. That's just like when I hear people say, oh, well, I was beat from the time I was this and that. But that don't mean it was right. Sometimes we need to learn a new way. That's all I'm saying. Maybe she needs to be educated about how to handle a gun and how.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to. I meant to hit cancel. I'm sorry, Karine. I'm sorry. 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 Sorry. I did not mean to drop you down. I meant to hit cancel. Fuck. Sorry. I'm sorry, baby. Sorry.
Okay. So remember you said about tiredness, right? Remember that officer who was
Well, no, I
supposedly
didn't say
tired?
tired. I said she looked drunk or
No, no,
ill.
not you. The
She
people are
said that.
saying that.
Yeah, they said she said that.
Yeah. So remember that supposed officer that was tired and came home and went to the wrong apartment and shot that guy.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's why. Well, that's why I say what I say. Being tired doesn't, in her defense, not defending her, but with her defense, being tired does not still execute the fact of what could have happened here. It still doesn't execute it from the possibility of what could have happened here. That's what I'm saying. This is a different petty, you guys. Relax. Go ahead.
Right. And as a parent, you could choose to teach your child whatever you want to teach them at whatever age you choose to teach them. That's your right. Just as long as within good standing. My thing is, you didn't teach her, because the very first thing you teach anyone, adult or child, about a gun is where the safety is. That's the very first thing you teach them. So that's my thing. And if you felt like you had to lie about what you taught your daughter, then that just shows me that you know that there's some type of guilt. You have some type of guilt behind it.
Now, I'm going to agree with you again today, honey. First of all, she was dead wrong. Because you heard that kid call the gun a blicky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sound like some hood shit to me. Sound like some ghetto shit to me. So technically, the way she going about the whole thing is ghetto hood rat shit. First of all, if you trying to say, oh, well, teach your kids and all this shit, that baby called it a blicky. Only niggas in the hood call it blickies, okay? Let's be real about this shit. The shit was ghetto, and CPS do need to intervene, because somebody gonna get shot around that bitch. Or it's gonna be one of y'all kids going to school with the little motherfucker, and he gonna come with that damn gun. I'm telling you, CPS need to intervene. That's all I gotta fucking say.
I will have to agree with Trina, though. I do think that Petty's not a bigger broadcaster, like in the limelight like that with any of this stuff, so she doesn't get as much attention. But some of us know Petty, and I've known Petty and like Petty, but that doesn't change my mindset, because I just think this is wrong. But I do think there is selective outrage. If it was some of the bigger broadcasters, there'd be more of a crucifixion. But I don't think using 21 or Angelic Soul is a good example, because they blatantly put their children on live and use them as content. I do think if it was a bigger broadcaster in general and they brought their children on live and people liked the broadcaster, people would be less selective, more selective and be either choose to crucify them or not crucify them. I think depending on how big their broadcast is. But that doesn't take away from
Hey, Robert.
Hey, baby.
Um, I just want to, I'm not going to repeat what everybody else said, but I do want to say this. A 5-year-old does not know that when you pull the trigger, that person is not going to come back. You get what I'm saying?
And
They
you
can't
can and you can
stop.
say that to them, but kids
Right.
don't even fully comprehend what that means sometimes,
Exactly.
which is why they play with stuff like that.
Exactly. And you can tell them that. You can tell them that. But what do they see? They see on TV, you see, say, I don't know, we'll say Kevin Hart. You see Kevin Hart get shot, guess what? You see him again on another movie, right? So they don't get it. So you can educate your child as much as you want, but they don't get it. They're children. They're gonna test it. They're gonna want to do it. So you can't do it. They're not young enough. She was not in control. It takes 1 second.
Who wants CPS to
One
take
second.
who wants CPS to take the kids, child? What the fuck? Nobody. No.
Nobody is saying take her children. We're just saying that it was not appropriate for it wasn't appropriate. And why are you on live with a gun out anyway? What was the purpose? What was the purpose? You want everybody to know you have a gun?
Add them up to say so. No, they just come in here saying shit like that makes no sense. Shut the fuck up.
Robert, I just wanted to clarify something. Trina, you're wrong on the fact if you don't know Petty and you haven't followed Petty, she has been broadcasting for years, like 5 years. So, and I've been watching her for that long. So I can definitely tell you that she knows what she should and shouldn't be doing on live. That's first. And second thing is Robert's right. There is no excuse, period. I'm not saying I don't love the woman to death, but no excuse. And Trina, please don't make it about everybody else, because this isn't everybody else. This is one person. So focus on what's on hand. It's not about you. It's not about these other broadcasters. But you do make a valid point, Robert. If it was somebody bigger like you or Trina or somebody else that broadcasts all the time, they'd be on their shit. So no, I agree with you, Robert. Read her down. Either way. And
Yeah.
Trina, you
No,
were right in
I
that
called her
sense.
stupid. She's stupid. Yeah.
Right.
And if
Like
they
she
and
knows what she's doing by now. So
yeah.
if you want to do it, you're gonna get read like everybody else. That's my opinion.
Yes, that's why I'm like, girl, but I'm still gonna call you stupid. I'm still gonna say if they had CPS up in your shit during an investigation, I would not gag. You deserve to be investigated. That's dumb. You weren't stinking. That's stupid. And yes, I do believe they need to intervene because y'all threw in all these other equations about how she's a felon, how blah, 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 child endangerment, how she said she's done pills before, all that. I don't know if any of that's true. But ma'am, Petty, if you are saying you're doing pills and you have admitted to doing those types of things and drinking, you need help beyond this app. Let me just kick you out. I don't believe you. You need help beyond this app, my love. Everything we're saying is not for you. You need help beyond this app because you are a danger to them kids. You, Petty. As a mother, you're a danger to them children. If you on pills and all that, you see, everybody thinks it's all cool to be hood and have guns around until motherfuckers start firing guns. You're a danger. You need to take accountability and you need help. Because that right there was a bad example of a mother and mothering skills. And I don't have children, but as someone with common sense and a brain, I'm going to say that.
Also, I want us to, the people that's getting up here, let's focus on the issue at hand. This is not about teaching our kids about guns or educating. We all know, we all should know about guns. This is about the issue at hand. She was drunk. This is apples and oranges. She was drunk and she did some stupid shit on live. She was not educating her daughter. Her daughter simply asked what it was.
So the daughter, we know she don't teach her about guns because she would have knew what the hell she was holding. This was some stupid shit she did. It was pure negligence. And like she's a bad parent for this. This has nothing to do with educating or pro gun, pro shit. This is about what the fuck she did on live. She looked at drunk and it was pure stupid. That's it.
I see you, Red Queen. You guys click the S up there to join my fan group, and if you want to join the family, let me know. If you want to be a host, just inbox me. Go ahead.
Period. Hi, Robert. How you doing? Hello, everybody in the comments. Hope everybody is having a good Thursday. I wanted to also say that it's true. You know, she shouldn't have did that, especially on this app, because you know they about to drag her ass. And you know, you just shouldn't have did that. If you want to teach your child about that, you know, there's ways that you could do it, but doing that was wrong. But I also wanted to piggyback off the lady who came up here and used the scenario of the white cop entering the house. She was dumb and she was racist and she tried to cover it up. So you can't never use that as a scenario because that bitch, how you enter somebody's house thinking it's yours? It doesn't make any sense. So she got what she deserved. But yes, Petty, you shouldn't have did that.
I did.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, hey,
What's up,
Rob.
everybody? What's up, Robert? See, I was accidentally shot, and it was by somebody that was intoxicated, that was trained, that had the education, but they were. It's not about the education; it's about the intoxication. And this is a child. An accident can happen within seconds. That's what happened to
Seconds.
me.
Seconds.
So, y'all, it's not about the education. It's about she was intoxicated. Clearly, that child could have been hurt within seconds. All right, I'm gonna drop down.
Yep. And I think everyone's trying to, but I think people are trying to. I think some of you guys, no shade, are trying to deflect or throw in different scenarios and say different things. And I just think, because we like to do that on this app, we like to do. The reality of this is it could have went wrong in a second and it would have been a tragedy. And I think, Petty, you need to understand that that was stupid, and you need to understand the severity. You see, it's cute to look ghetto and not ghetto, but be ghetto and be like, yeah, I'm from the hood or I got guns and all that. But it's not cute when shit actually goes wrong. That's a child. And the first thing you should have did is you should have got up on this motherfucker and said, I apologize, y'all. You know what? I'm going to make sure that I'm more safe, and make sure that my firearm is not around that girl anymore. And I know that was crazy, and I'm gonna do better. That's what you should have did instead of waving it around. And now you're banned. It's not a cute flex. It's not good. It's not, girl. No one's giving you, besides the people who might be like, "Ooh, girl." No one's giving, like, girl. They're wearing and tearing you. It's not a. You look like a bad mom. Go ahead.
For instance, it was a scenario. This happened last year, right in my neighborhood. I live right behind a daycare. This 5-year-old boy took his father's gun to the daycare. It was in his book bag. The gun went off, but nobody got hurt. And he was a convicted felon. He's still locked up. Now, what if that bullet would have went through my bedroom window? Because my bedroom window right behind the daycare. These kids think these guns are toys.
Yes.
That's the problem. And people don't know how to store them. They're not registered. I would never have an unregistered gun and not stored in my house, and I have kids.
Yep.
It's just no common sense with it.
No
It
excuse for
don't
it.
make any sense because accidents do happen, and accidents can happen in the middle of seconds. It can go all the way left. And that was uncool because I live right behind the daycare.
Yep. Wow. I'm sorry that happened to you, love. Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, Robert, just happened yesterday in Indiana. The brother was staying at his sister's house, sleeping on the couch, left the blicky under the pillow, got up to do something. Him and his sister was in the kitchen. They heard the pow. The nephew got the gun, shot the 1 year old sister. She dead.
I mean, I don't understand what people. That's why, for me, like, anyone who, and I'm not trying to be funny with y'all, I just have to disagree with y'all so strongly for anyone who thinks that this is being dragged or being whatever, or just think that this is something that in any way, shape, or form is appropriate. The level and amount of possibilities that could happen with this is crazy.
I have a serious question. I know the first time I came up here and I said I don't agree with kids even knowing about a gun. I'm just curious. Can somebody please enlighten me? I'm sorry if I'm getting off topic. And what situation would a child need to know about a gun, especially younger than, to me, the age of 10? Would they need to defend themselves? Like, what do they? Why would they need to know about a gun? I'm just curious. I really want to know the answer to that. I want somebody's input. Why would they need to know about a gun? I know one person came up in the queue and said something about honey. Okay, I kind of understand that because that's a sport. But in what sense would you need to teach your child about a gun for? I just want to know. I know this, they said in the state of Texas is what, I don't know, but why would a child need to know about a gun? Gun safety? I don't agree with that. Okay, in case they come across one, okay, sure, but holding the gun, knowing where the safety is, how to what's the whatever.
Well, you know what?
I don't get it.
I will. Well, I'll let the people answer the questions for you, babe. But I will say, I think in certain states where guns are more formidable and accessible for a lot of people, I myself, if I had kids, like if I was in Texas, bitches hold guns down there like they're motherfucking bus passes. So I think I would have to, because of the environment, educate my children in a place like Texas because of the environment. Because you would never want, even though it might not be for you personally, you would never want to sit there and be in a gun pro heavy state and have a child or someone who could be unarmed. So I guess it just, to be honest with you.
That's just what I was going to come up and say. You need to teach them safety because as much as we try to protect our children, sometimes they come into contact or into contact with things that we may not always know about. So just teaching them the basics, I think, is is necessary in some
In
instances.
some,
Like
yeah,
if I
yeah.
keep a gun in my house, like he's not going to know where I keep it at, but he learned about gun safety in case something else, outside of my house is going on. So that he'll know, at least start the education early so that they'll know the effects. I'm not saying put a gun in their hand, just like you would teach them about safety in any other instances. You don't want your child to be completely ignorant of things, but that doesn't mean you have to put the gun in their hand. There are different ways to educate your child about things. And that's really all it is. Like I said, it depends on the environment that you're in and what the type of household that you grew up in. It's not the same for everybody and everybody's different. That's all.
Yep. I have to get ready to go, you guys, to dinner. So I, like I said, Petty, I'm disappointed in you. It was stupid. It was stupid and it was dumb. And you look like a bad mom. You need to think before you do some shit like that. It's not a cute flex to have a gun around that little beautiful black child doing shit like that, or any children. You look dumb and you look crazy. Lost mad respect for that. That goes for anybody, any parent. Go ahead.
So true. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you, baby.
Okay. I was just gonna say that the thing that makes me worried is that the way she is showing that she was responsible is showing all the irresponsible things that could have possibly happened. And she's like, "Oh no, why would you have an unloaded gun on the bed?" Is my question. What would be the purpose of an unloaded gun, right? Also, if you are proving that you have shown your child safety, the first lesson is that your child is not around said gun just willy-nilly. That's the first lesson about gun safety. So a lot of people saying, oh, well, I let my kids around guns. If you let them around guns like this, you should be seeing the lessons so you don't have to learn it the hard way, because this is a lesson she's gonna have to learn it the hard way. You know them people gonna get in her business because they own this app. When stuff like this happens, it triggers
Also, but
CPS.
also,
It's so
also
many
they,
social workers on this app.
but also they are gonna get in her business because they should get in her business.
They gonna get in her business because they should.
Cause
She
they
gonna
should.
learn by the time they get in her business, she gonna already have learned the lesson. Now she got to deal with the headache. Now
Yeah.
she finna have to. So she just caused herself unnecessary stress from having an unloaded gun on the bed. As a gun person myself, I don't keep unloaded guns just laying around. Who does that? Oh, the gun in one place and the bullets in another place. That might be the. I don't know. I don't get the logic on that. So yeah, it's just all the way fucked up. She got caught up, and how you handle situations like this is through humility and apologizing and saying you learned your lesson. She not doing that.
Nope.
She going the opposite route.
Hmm.
She going a belligerent route, and that's gonna make it harder on her. That's very
And
immature.
not only is it gonna make it harder for her, it's gonna make it. And I'm gonna drop you down. Thank you, baby. I'm gonna do this lastly. It's not only gonna make it harder for her, but it's gonna make it harder if something sad and drastic happens for people not to say "I told you so." And that's the worst part about this. The worst part about this is when that if something goes wrong in 1 second and you're up and out of here, or one of those kids is, it's gonna make it harder for people to say, "I told you so." Well, we talked about it. Well, you were the one doing all this. And I would hate to say that. I would hate to say that. I would hate to say that. That's the reality. I have to go, you guys. I love y'all down. And I will see y'all a little bit later on. Yeah. No. I lost mad respect.